Hi everyone, it's a pleasure being here at GWFM. Especially GWFM Bangalore holds a special place in our journey. As Dr. Shiva was mentioning earlier, it was 3 years back in this event, back in 2022 September is when we launched our first MVP product. And since then it's been an amazing run. We are thoroughly enjoying this. What we're going to do today is we're just going to walk you through a few slides, not a whole lot, but just talking about our journey, what we have achieved, where we are headed. Then give you a quick preview of the product or the platform, so there will be a demo, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Does this sound okay? Good? Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to quickly start with introductions. Who we are DataNativ. Our long-term strategic planning platform is called Capability. Capability, as I was mentioning earlier, was launched in September 2022. We did our first implementation in Q1 of 2023, and it's been about 2.5 years now. But couldn't have asked for a better platform other than GWFM to launch it. So truly thankful to Dr. Shiva for building this platform, bringing all the WFM professionals together once a year. So thank you so much, Dr. Shiva. We really appreciate you. All right, so, Capability has gone through a journey over the last 2.5 years. We are going to talk about how the product has evolved, the platform has evolved, and what we learned along the way. But I just want to touch upon a key milestone that we hit very recently. We now have 250,000 agent licenses. We achieved this in a very short span of time. On our way to hit 300,000 by the end of the year, and our goal is to hit 500,000 agent licenses by end of next year. And I'm super proud of what our team has delivered, where we are today. But a huge shout out to our clients, to early adopters. I know a couple of them are sitting here, our client leaders are here, who believed in us, trusted us, worked with us, and helped us get where we are today. So thank you so much. Quick introduction, the leadership team is here. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at DataNativ. My background has mostly been workforce management. I started almost 25 years back. In 2001, I started as an agent. I used to do emails for a US client. And in 2022 is when I got the opportunity to work for a WFM team. And I always used to look at those guys sitting on the floor, guiding everyone, throwing orders at agents. And I used to think, wow, this team is very powerful. This is where I need to go. That's how I landed up in workforce management, never left, stayed with it, worked with various organizations. So that's my background. And because of that background, I work extensively with our product team to continue innovate, right? Sunil, my fellow co-founder and our chief client officer is here as well. Say hi, Sunil. He has an extensive background on the client engagement, customer satisfaction, operations delivery, partner management. So he's our chief client officer responsible for delivery and customer success. Amar, our chief technology officer, he's with us here today, and he's going to talk about a couple of exciting slides we have put together on where we are on our AI journey and where we are headed. So he's going to talk about that. Before we talk about our journey and what we have achieved, where we are headed, I want to spend some time on the why behind the product. Like, why did we decide to build this? Why did we decide to make it such an extensive platform, right? And I'm going to just leave this slide here. I'm not going to read all the bullet points, but these are just some examples which I'm going to leave it, which will help me explain the why, right? So when we formed the company, we were thinking about building something unique. And when we looked at the WFM ecosystem, we realized that capacity planning is a very complex process. And yet, for some interesting reason, no other product company has created an extensive solution focusing on this problem statement. So most of the industry was relying on spreadsheets to manage this process manually, right? So we decided we are going to take a stab at it. We underestimated the complexities, but nonetheless, we built our first MVP, launched it in Q1 2023. And as we started working with our user community, our clients, we realized how complex it gets. Now, generally at a high level, your framework is pretty much the same, right? You have input, you have output, and it should give you calculated numbers, right? But in reality, it is not that simple. So early on, we knew that creating a platform which just works on a simple input-output algorithm is not going to be enough. And creating dashboards and reports out of that will not be enough as well. And as we started working with our clients, they started giving us ideas, their requirements, their feedback, and these are some real-life examples of what kind of feedback we used to get when we were building this platform. And I'm sure a lot of you will resonate with probably few of them or a lot of these bullet points, that these are nuances that can come across when you are working on a specific capacity plan. So while within the organization you may have different clients, different LOBs, different channels, collectively it creates a really complex ecosystem. And there are so many touch points within the organization that the planner has to deal with. And when you put all of this and think about doing all of this manually every week, every month, every year, it creates a lot of issues, right? So that's where we decided that while we are building this platform, we are going to make it so agile, so flexible that no capacity planner or the planning team has to go back and start working on spreadsheets again, right? So that was our kind of a North Star goal, that this is where we want to go, right? And I'm so proud to share with all of you today that our current version, and by the way, we have released 26 versions in as many months. So almost one release every month. We have added probably 200 plus small and large features, all based on our user feedback that we have received. But I'm really proud to share with you that our as-is product, just a plug-and-play system, can accommodate 90% of the use cases in any organization across the industry. And all thanks to our team, technology team, Amar and team. They've been working tirelessly behind the scenes, making this dream come true for us. So what I'm going to now do is, we have a video which I'm going to play, because our marketing team said so I have to do it. That will talk about our journey, and then we'll go into more slides. Thank you.
To change how WFM leaders plan capacity, to move beyond the chaos of spreadsheets and into a smarter way of working. Spreadsheet-based capacity planning was slow and error-prone. Workforce managers had to manually input the data and use industry standards where few existed. Spreadsheets failed to accurately capture agent learning curves, shrinkage, and attrition. Headcount reconciliation was always a struggle. Frequent business changes took too long to reflect in plans. And connecting inputs and outputs from different departments and channels at an enterprise level was never real-time. This led to inaccuracies, inefficiencies, and decisions that were always a step behind. Capability changed the game. Integrating all data into one unified platform in real time, eliminating errors with standardized models, and simplifying headcount reconciliation through inbuilt lifecycle tools. The result was a step change in planning accuracy, a platform built for planners by planners, backed by 40-plus years of WFM experience, and designed to be easy, efficient, and error-free. The MVP laid the foundation. It brought core planning features, reliable reporting, and smarter data handling, a strong start with 10,000 agents onboarded. The next stage saw rapid growth. Capability was evolving fast, offering greater flexibility, seamless integrations, and more control for planners. We scaled to 50,000 agents. Proof innovation was only beginning. Soon, with smarter scenarios, instant reporting, and advanced models, planners gained options like never before that helped us scale to support 100,000 agents. In 2025, we opened our AI lab, focusing to deliver AI-driven forecasting with 6 algorithms and growing. Automated planning, shrinkage optimization, automation, AI analytics, and intelligent assistants became part of everyday WFM. Our footprint grew to 250,000 agents, and climbing. As the platform scaled, so did the people behind it. A growing team building greater impact. Together, we've reshaped capacity planning for enterprises worldwide, cutting manual work by up to 40%, and freeing leaders to focus on scenario planning, think more strategically about the future, and put greater energy into agent well-being. The journey doesn't stop here. Today, we're on our way to reaching 300,000 agent licenses across the globe. In just a short period of time, we've seen 30x growth. Over 1,000 planners are using capability 24/7 to create and maintain their workforce strategies. Today, we're building end-to-end capacity planning powered by AI. With recommendations that guide the entire organization, training plans that adapt in real time, multi-skilling that maximizes every agent, and management tools that bring true agile planning to life. Capability is not just a tool, it's intelligence in motion. And we're just getting started. The most exciting chapters are still ahead.
Thank you. All right. So in a nutshell, just to summarize, right, this has been our journey. We started off with an MVP in 2023, spent a big chunk of 2024 and 2025 focusing on creating detailed data sets, making sure our knowledge management system is capable of AI ML integrations whenever we get started on that, and also creating so many feature sets which helped us to reach a stage where we can now easily solve 90% of the use cases. Obviously, this year we launched our AI lab. We already have, and the AI lab has already delivered a bit of, the products which we are going to talk about already. I'm also going to showcase that as part of the demo. And there is a lot of work which we have in our roadmap for 2026, which Amar is going to share with all of you. So with that, I'm going to now move to the next slide. Just talking about our journey this year, which is related to AI. So over to you, Amar.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. How many of you are here last year? Raise your hands. Okay. So one of my first GWFM, conference, and I talked about demand forecasting, which we promised, working on it. We started our foundations, setting up a lab in Q1 2025, and then immediately we started working on the demand forecasting, worked on various algorithms, up to 6 algorithms. We continue to add more and more depending upon each business, case. We did a couple of machine learning, we did neural network, machine learning models as well. So today, all these demand forecasting model with distribution is available for our customers. Some of the customers are already experiencing or utilizing this, and we're getting constant feedback. So already we launched the demand forecast. Then on top of that, we started working in Q3 in terms of the shrinkage, how the internal shrinkage, your external shrinkage in terms of your breaks, unauthorized absence, your leaves and everything. So how you can predict, for your future. So we've completed that also using the ML models. And on top of that, one of the groundbreaking solution which we worked on is everywhere, whatever you have the workforce management tools or capacity plans, you need to have the ops dashboards. You need to see your analytics point of view. So last year we launched on a self-service reporting tool, but now we launched a LLM, analytical bot, so that you should be able to ask a question while, on your fingertips, I would say easily. Just type, what are my shrinkages, across a region, what capacity plans I have, a lesser head count, those type of simple questions. It will automatically work on the data, what you have behind the scenes, and provide the information instantly for you. That's in the chatbot. And we already laid out the framework in terms of the attritions, what types of algorithms we need to use, in terms of the roster attrition, what are the patterns, in terms of the tenure, is it training time, how many people we are losing, in terms of your nesting, in terms of your production, what is the tenure level within the production, and how you need to plan ahead. So that's coming quite soon, within 4 weeks, because we already spent a lot of time on that. So far, this is our journey in 2025. we spend a lot of effort not only working on the other features within the product, because that is the foundational, very important for us to have it, then adding a layer on AI on top of that is the game changing for us, for our product.
Yeah, and I just want to add, you rightly said, Amar, the foundation was really important for us. Because what we have now realized is, with that right foundation, now as we are deploying AI models, is really easy for us, right? And it is giving us the results that we desire from any AI model. So, and this is not just true for our product. Any one of you doing any projects internally where you want to leverage AI, the foundation needs to be there. I think Sridhar put it really beautifully that if you do not have the knowledge behind the AI, it is just garbage in, garbage out, right? So that was very critical for us, and we focused heavily the entire last year and majority of this year, making sure that the foundation is strong.
Right. Next slide. What's coming next? So you all know, we talked about agentic AI, Gen AI. We already implemented Gen AI with our, chatbot, using the LLMs. But now, currently, we're working on the process optimization to understand, where my resources are, where are the overs, how do I distribute that to the across different plans or different sites, automatically optimizing that and providing that information using the agentic AI models, and also providing the smart alerts for them to make a decision. Hey, there is a red flag in terms of the shrinkage point of view. You have a higher shrinkage, coming up in the next few weeks in terms of the prediction, or last week you have a different types of shrinkage, and giving that alerts, not only just shrinkage is one of the example, but everywhere within the capacity plan, from the beginning to the end, all the journey, it will automatically gives you an alert for the agent to make, a planner to make a decision, whether he wants to continue that, is it one of the anomaly which he can ignore it, so that it presents the data and also instructs the users, the planners, to go and act on it, so that the agentic AI can kick in and can perform the job on behalf of the planner. And I talked about the agentic workflows already, and agentic workflows, there's a lot of workflows we built in, not only for the capacity plan, even for our development point of view also. How do I expedite my work? How do I use my, Jira tickets or Azure DevOps tool? So everywhere we started automating our agentic AI workflow, so that it gives the benefits. How do I, build some release notes? How do I, make sure my development team is, committing their work on time? How are my, PRs are happening? But that is just for us, because not only just giving it to our customers, we also practice, all the workflows and the AI within our day-to-day. So our approach of building our solutions is not database first approach, not API first approach, not Microsoft first approach, it is AI first approach. So we always bake that into the design itself to see, is it something can benefit using the AI. It doesn't mean we have to use everything as an AI, but plant the seed at the beginning of the stage to see, can this be automated? Can this be converted into an agentic workflow model? Or is it just a simple automation? I don't even need an AI. Because a lot of times when I see it, all automation is being tagged as an AI. That's not an AI. Automation is a repetitive process. You're trying to, give it to a bot to make it happen, but where is AI intelligence in it? Where is the language learning models coming into that picture? How is the workflows are working behind the scenes? What type of neural networks? So all that we're trying to ingest into the system. But at the same time, not only the agentic workflows, I just wanted to throw a few bits and pieces on the optimizer side, how the agentic is going to work for us. Looking in terms of the entire capability point of view, the product point of view, identifying what types of attrition is coming in the future, what type of actions the user needs to take it, how was your actual values in the previous weeks, and how that's going to impact, based on your prediction. So every step of the planner, what he can do, can be presented to him, a human in the loop, for them to assess it, and they can instruct the engine to go and action on it. So there's a lot of workflows. Every case a planner does can be automated. And then we are continue to grow on the forecasting models, so we are trying to understand the business needs, a hospitality organization to a credit card company to a rideshare company is completely different, business case to business case. So we're trying to understand to how the models can work towards that particular business case or the business domain, and also understanding what types of parameters we need to tune, the hyperparameters, how many iterations it needs to go through to get to that accuracy level. So all that stuff we are enhancing more and more and adding more algorithms to it, so that if it is Sarima X, Sarima, straightforward. It's a time series and seasonality. But what happens if I need to predict to every site? It's different. Every business domain is different. So we pick and choose the models, what really meant or built for those, and then apply those models.
Okay, awesome. So, Amar used a word called human in loop, right?
Yes.
So what we are targeting is, while we are building all of this is eventually, and I think I'm going to go back to Sridhar's presentation, eventually going to change the role which WFM planner is playing. Because a lot of the manual work which they do today will be automated, right? And instead of doing it manually, now they will have the option to review what the agentic AI is presenting as recommendations, and then become more of a strategist for the business, working with the business leaders and deciding whether that strategy is the most optimal strategy for the business or not. So the entire focus will shift from doing it to finalizing or deciding what needs to be done, right? So that's where human in loop strategy is what we are focusing on. And by the time we meet next year, we will actually have a lot of these already in play with our clients, and we'll be able to showcase this also to you. So what we are now going to do is going to give you a quick overview of the product. I cannot do a detailed demo because that will take 2 hours, and I don't think Dr. Shiva will be happy with that. So we're most likely going to cover that in probably 20 minutes. But before I jump into a product demo, any questions from anyone or anything specific you would like to see on the demo which we should focus on, or do you want to hold off to your questions for the demo to complete? After the demo? Yes, Shubha.
Way ahead, so I just want to put this thought in your mind. Probably, I'm sure you're already thinking about this. This omni-channel and was a challenge earlier. Now the challenge is the social animal, right? Very unpredictable. I'm calling on chat, I'm chatting, I'm calling somebody, and I'm same problem but different forums. How do we solve for this is something that we need to think through.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Take this as a challenge, yeah.
Absolutely, and this is something which has been discussed with a couple of our clients as well. And obviously, when you think about the long-term planning, the critical aspect of that is data, right? Which needs to come from omni-channel tools, which is hosting these channels, so that we can use that information. And we already have a multi-skilling planning model now, which we recently launched. So now with that data, we'll be able to use the multi-channel models to say, how are you going to plan for capacity for such kind of a scenario? But I absolutely agree. And not just that, now when you think about agentic AI coming into the mix, where potentially AI bots are going to be handling customer interactions, how do we combine these two and create a model which is a combination of human and AI agents? Right. So those are some of the things we have already discussed at length, and we are definitely going to be working on that. But thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So web-based, doesn't require any desktop installation, role-based access, and you can customize these roles. And usually we integrate with, and I hope the Wi-Fi works well. I'm connected to the hotel Wi-Fi, and usually we integrate with single sign-on systems so that credential management from a security standpoint stays within the organization. We were talking about demand forecasting, so I'm going to just quickly start with that, just to give you a preview of how it looks like. And let me expand this example. So basically, we can integrate with your ACD systems or other systems and pull your historical data like day level volume details, or users can just load last 2-3 years of historical data. And then it essentially works on these 6 algorithms right now, as Amar was mentioning earlier. And based on the lowest MAPE value, it recommends which is the best fit model, or the users can select their own models. So it looks at seasonality, growth rates, holidays patterns and those kind of things. But you can also add more parameters on it, right? So for example, your technology team is saying, oh, we have an IVR automation coming in, so you can expect your volumes to go down by X percentage from this date onwards. You can build that on top of it. Or I have a marketing events coming in. Or let's say in the past, if you have had marketing events, you can tag those weeks and just let the system generate those events or the trends for you if you have an upcoming event. So there's a lot of data in there. It will basically give you all sorts of comparisons, give you data at day level, interval level, week, month, quarter, etc. So I'm not going to go into a lot of this, but I just wanted to give you a quick preview of what it looks like. In terms of the planning engine, it's based on hierarchy setup, so you can set up your own hierarchy the way you want it. And the beauty of that is everyone who's working on capacity plan in your organization, as they are working on it real time, the data is rolled up and you have on-demand reporting available, right? You don't have to rely on someone to build reports for you because it's available on a global dashboard and with slices and dices that you would like. In terms of modeling, we have various planning models already in play. If your clients or your internal teams are giving you volume and you need to run your models based on volume, service levels, AHT, etc., you have it. If the client is giving you FT requirements or billable hours requirements or headcount, etc. So all those common models are already there. And then beyond that, in case you have a need for a custom model to be built, we can work on that as well. I'm going to quickly show you how a typical model looks like. So this is how a typical model looks like. It gives you all sorts of parameters that you would want. And beyond whatever we have, in fact, from an output standpoint, we have probably 40 to 50 fields. I've hidden all those fields because I'm customizing my view, what I want to see. But this is one thing we also learned over time based on the user feedback, that every organization has a different way of looking at data. Like they have custom calculated fields that they typically build onto their spreadsheets. So we work with our clients to build those custom fields, and now we are launching a module where they themselves will be able to build their own custom fields, own calculations, and insert into the capacity plan, right? So that is something coming up, I think, in Q4, Amar, if I'm not wrong?
Yes, Q4.
But essentially, you have all those parameters that you may need, and all these can be automated with your end systems. So if you're using Nice IEX and your shrinkage is on your Nice IEX platform, we can integrate to pull all your historical data, and the system can generate trends based on the data. So we have AI ML modeling from a shrinkage standpoint, and I can just quickly show you where the model will basically run and give you recommendation based on the trends. And I was actually looking at it yesterday, and I realized that in the actual data, and again, this is a dummy environment just for the demo purposes, but historically these are Christmas and New Year weeks, and it is already tracking the trend based on whatever was there the previous years, and it's showing it, right? And it will also be able to track anomalies, right? So you had a typhoon in Philippines or weather issue in India which impacted your shrinkage. You can tag those weeks and system will automatically pick it up. Or we are right now working on an API where it will pull from weather services to look at those days where those events were there and predict future events based on the weather forecast to see you can expect a higher shrinkage impact because you have a typhoon coming in. So those kind of things are there. We already had, and that was the basic model where you can obviously create your codes, match it with your scheduling system so that when you're planning, you have a replica of how your scheduling is being done, and that's how you can pull all your information. In terms of your actual volumes, in terms of your actual AHTs, occupancy, all of that data can be integrated, and we can pull that data automatically. And the system will basically provide you recommendations in terms of how much overtime is needed or what kind of classes you need to hire. So all of those employee lifecycle management is also integrated, and that's the core of this engine. It's not just numbers. It's not someone inputting numbers and saying, I had 50 people last week. it is backed by employees. It has a fully integrated employee lifecycle management built into the system itself. And we typically integrate it with either the WFO systems in case you want that to be your source system, or HR systems. Like we have done multiple implementations now with Workday, and it can integrate and automate your end-to-end employee lifecycle, right? Right from onboarding of new agents against a new hire class, or transfers, movements, promotions. And you know, because of all the feedback that we were getting from our clients, we realized that we also needed to enhance some of these workflows. Like for example, you know, one of the clients early on told us that, hey, you know, we don't just promote employees all the time permanently. Sometimes we have a seasonal ramp, and for those seasonal ramp, we need to have temp trainers, temp SMEs. How do you tackle that? Then they said, you know what, we don't necessarily move agents from one capacity plan to another plan directly into production. Sometimes it's a new line of business, they need to be trained. How do you create a workflow, right? They came up with a whole lot of ideas, problem statements that led us to building all these different workflows. And then eventually we ended up automating all of this with the use of APIs. And now we have a system where it can integrate, automate your entire workflow. So your teams are not spending time every Friday reconciling headcount with HR systems, but that is something done by the tool itself, right? We have all these different components. You want to plan for your support staff based on ratios, you can do that. And when we launched it, one of the clients said, oh, we also have these support staff sometimes be productive. They take calls or they take emails, and we want their hours to be added to our projected FTs. How do we do that? So we added those components as well into the system. So over time, based on all these user feedbacks, we have been enhancing the product to ensure that for any reason, the planner need not go out and work on a scenario on a spreadsheet just because the platform cannot accommodate, right? We have integrated learning curves. So if you have your HT glide paths, you can incorporate it. We are now working on another module related to this, which I think again is a queue for delivery, where based on AI and machine learning algorithms, it will look at actual historical agent HTs and basically create your learning curve automatically and apply that learning curve to your future classes. So as you are adding classes, it is going to show you the impact of AHT and productivity on that. Same with attrition. Amar shared the attrition, AI ML based attrition planning is, I think, part of Q4 as well. Now what we are doing there is, we are doing it at each tenure level, right? So instead of saying my attrition historically has been trending this, just look at the overall number and predict it. We are saying what has been the attrition at each tenure bucket level, and how does it impact my future attrition numbers in case if I have to now ramp up. Let's say I'm a 100 people queue and my client is asking me to ramp up to 400, which means my mix is going to shift, and now I'm going to end up with a lot more newer agents. And historically, I've had higher attrition in my 0 to 30 bucket, which means I'm going to see higher attrition now for future weeks as well, because a lot of new people are going to come on board. So that's how it is going to connect all these various elements within the organization and on the product and give you the recommended details. It has what if scenarios. If you want to run what if scenarios, changing parameters without impacting the live data, you can do that. You can also save the copy of your live plan, save it and create a custom plan just to see how it looks like. Let's say organization level, you're all doing Q4 forecasting and you want to have your custom plans created for Q4 forecasting. You can create it and then roll it up as a data set. These are some of the things we are already working on, again based on all the feedback we keep getting from our clients. And all of this obviously goes into our operational dashboards. These are real-time, on-demand reporting. While we have various elements of dashboard and reporting already set, We also have self-service reporting in case anyone wants to create their own reports, dashboard, and on top of it, we now have the Agentic AI Assist, which can help you with a lot of these questions. And we will continue to evolve this as Agentic AI comes into the play. We are going to put Agentic AI as a top layer on top of everything that we have built that will assist the planners. And we are yet to come up with a nice sounding name. For the lack of that term, we are calling it Planning Buddy. That's what we came up with. But we are soon going to work with our marketing team to come up with a persona and a name for our Agentic AI Assist. So I'll pause here. I tried to cover just the basic overview of how the product looks like, what are some of the key features, functionalities. Let me see if you guys have any questions which I can answer, please.
The what if section, is it linked to the agent? Like, say if I want to prompt and ask if I update training need for 4FT, show me what is the change in productivity. So I don't want to go and actually change the data. I want to see what happens if I do that.
So what it does is, it will obviously pick your current status of how many active agents you have, and what is your current attrition planning or other components, like what is your current plan for future new hires, shrinkage plan, etc. So it will basically pull all of that data, create a model for you, like a tabular form, in which you will see the numbers. That as per the current plan, I'm showing my current headcount is 50, I'm getting 15 people from nesting into production next week, etc., etc. Now I can just change the number. So let's say your training team is saying, you know what, we feel out of 15, 5 are going to fail the certification. We are still working on it, but there is a possibility instead of 15, you will only get 10. Now I don't want to go and change my assumptions on the main plan because it can impact my live data. So I can just create it on what if and say, okay, instead of 15, what if I just change it to 10? What will it do? How will it impact my over-unders? And to manage that, what if I change my shrinkage by 2 percentage point? Or what if I add a component of overtime? Does it help me manage it? So you can just play around with numbers on that model. It is not impacting your live plan until you actually start exploring that. So you can do all of that. All the components that impacts your planning can be changed as a tabular form, as a what if, and you can save up to I think 5 different what if models within a capacity plan. And then now this is at a cap plan level. There is another what if which is at the global level, where right now in the current version you can play with volume, AHT, occupancy. Then what if my overall volume increases by 5%? What does it do to all my capacity plan and all my FT numbers globally, right? And we are now adding additional components like shrinkage, attrition, overtime, hiring, occupancy is already there. So now as a leader, if I want to see, okay, for the region which is Philippines, what if I change my shrinkage by 2 percentage point or attrition by X percentage point, or if we continue to be at 90% to forecast, what does it do to the region? So there are 2 different ways that you can work with what if, at a global level or multiple cap plan levels, or within that cap plan you can run those models.
Thank you, Mohit. So this is within the tool, right?
Yes.
It's not prompted by an agent today. So
no.
You log into the tool, you create the what if scenarios, and I mean the user saves them, but
yes.
You're not doing it through prompting the agent today.
No. So the Agentic AI, if I got it right, is our next step. So now that we have all these workflows and knowledge base ready, we are now deploying Agentic AI, because deploying Agentic AI is now easy.
Yes.
Right, because now we have
the data.
The structure is there, the fundamentals are very, very strong, and the foundation is there. Deploying all of this is becoming very easy, and we tested it out with a couple of things. In fact, the Agentic AI Assist was up and running in less than a day's time, probably a couple of hours, because we had enough data behind the scenes for the Gen AI to tap into. Right, and that's where we focused a lot over the last several months. But yeah, that's our next step now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that the agentic AI can start providing those recommendations and provide smart alerts.
So I just wanted to add on the base frameworks, everything is in place now for us in terms of microservices, the data, the orchestrations in place, it is just executing those orchestrations with a chat message, which gives you the data, and then telling a step, asking the agent or maybe the chat to say, hey, go and execute this, because all the frameworks, everything is ready, just linking those APIs to your orchestrator.
So we will see that soon then.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Mohit, mostly focused on US customers, and we have our contact centers primarily in US and Philippines. I was really fascinated by the APIs, especially on the weather, where it can anticipate weather changes and ensure the forecasting can be adjusted. I'm curious to know if there's any APIs on the market insights, because obviously how the markets have been behaving in US for the past couple of months, and really curious if there's any markets insights. So we have certain now tools available like Bloomberg GPTs and all that, right? So that would be really helpful, because our forecasting is going haywire with all the forecasting that we've been making and how markets have been behaving. So just curious to know if there's anything that supports.
I think that's a great idea. Not that it cannot be done, but that is definitely was not part of our priority list.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great idea.
So I think back, what are all the factors? For example, today, the majority of them for the agents in terms of shrinkage or the forecasting point of view, we worked on the holiday APIs we use by city, by region, so that, it's not like a holiday in India. It could be a holiday in a particular state or in a particular city. So we went to that level, granular level, and also we use the weather forecasting, which could impact the day-to-day activity for a agent to be, available within the organization or come to the organization. So now we're going to get into the next levels in terms of, based on each use case of the domain, what else we can, because it's nowadays technology is so easy, to be honest,
But and you're talking about the financial market.
That's what I'm saying.
The scenario, right? So I think,
there are all these, like how the trend is, how the market is, how that's going to impact your business, The data is available. There's a lot of published, now MCP is coming into the picture, into the market, as everybody is, publishing there, so that we should be able to easily, connect to those. But
great idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, that was one of the things that I had when Shiv Kumar did mention that one of the opportunities that we'll have to foresee. So yeah, that was one of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question. But from the part of it, if I'm looking for associates to be ramped up, will your forecasting bring the view of what is my sales percentile to win, probability to win, and the technology is what the sales is selling to the customer? Today the technology trend is so fast. I'm looking for 5 Avengers in one person. Do I have the capability built in my organization to plug and play when I win the game? Today we do not have, where I talk about skill as a currency. We have the skill guys system wise, technology wise. But if my sales guy is selling a combination of API, a combination of Java with banking technologies with mainframe plugging into migrate, do I have those technologies built in? And if I win based on the probability, what is my capability planning needed to be ready so that I can deploy and deliver?
So if I understood correctly, predicting the market needs and mapping it to your current skills and predicting what do you need to do from a skill bank standpoint to meet those demands. Did I?
More than market predicting, my sales guys winning predictability. They have a percentile for a deal to win.
Okay.
So if my percentile is 70 to 80% is where my staffing triggers, where I build up my capability in the team. So what is that percentile coming in, plugging into my skill internally, map it up to the skill and say where is my shortage, how I can build it, and my timeline to build the capability. And this needs to be global, because at Pro we are global. So.
And I'm sure Amar can add more value to this, but to be honest, these are readily available algorithms. Like the algorithms we have also used, these are readily available. And obviously you have to fine tune these algorithms to meet your business requirements, right? And using those, I don't think there is any doubt that these algorithms cannot do what you are asking it to do. It probably will require customization to meet your use case, but absolutely the combination, and I don't know if.
Let me help.
Yeah.
You have a demand, you have an over under. It's giving you that. You just get adapted. You have a demand that the sales guys are creating. You have a forecasted over under. It's going to give it. The action is what needs to happen. So you already have a demand. She's talking about a demand. What is my capability to meet the demand?
I think it's predicting the win percentage is what I understood.
She's got the win percentage is going to come from the SpanCo, the sales pipeline, the whole thing there, right? Your demand is going to get created. The demand is what you need to ensure that it's getting fed in. If you know the demand, your over under is going to come out. It's just that you have to adapt the model. You can work.
It's not the number.
She's not talking
I'm
about
not the number.
You will know whether you can meet it or not.
The map and the capability.
As per skill. So skill,
That's exactly.
demand by skill is what you need to create. Don't create a demand for the whole sales team. Demand by skill, demand over under by skill. The job's done.
So
Probably we'll chat more.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can set it up for her and it's already there.
I think.
Just a thought. I want to simplify it. So.
Yeah. So every business case, to every organization is slightly different. Our focus being more on the WFM non-consulting organization. To be honest, now we started working in terms of the multi-skilling modules and everything. But the priority was how do I ensure my shrinkage is in a better place, my attrition is in a better place. What are my over and unders? How many resources we need to onboard. What sales campaigns are coming in the future. Based on that, what will be the demand, on the AHT point of view. So we focus more in terms of agents, in those areas. But if there is a specific to service-based organizations in terms of I have X number of skills, and then the sales team is going and trying to get more contracts, and I don't have the enough skills, I want to match that and provide the demand. That is just adding some additional parameters. But the base algorithm is there. Algorithm doesn't care what we are giving. It doesn't know it's an AHT, it's an attrition, it's something else. All algorithm is a piece of number, what was the trend, and how do I predict it? Then you add your hypertune parameters to your business specific, add additional, conditions or input parameters for your specific case. Then that will spit out the output. So that's how I see it, because it's an engine. It doesn't know what it is, but at the end, we try to add more of a business cases and domain-specific conditions. If I just talk about our algorithms itself, there are 100 plus hypertuning parameters. Do I use all of them? Some of them are not even applicable. Up to what level is really applicable for that business case, then we apply those. So, but it is possible, because it's just end of the day, we're predicting the data. So that's how I take it.
I know. One more question. So this is the last one, because Dr. Shiva has already started clapping, which means I need to wrap up.
So data. And you know that AI or GenAI is still not great at handling structured data. So just curious to know how are you handling this, or
Unstructured data or structured data?
Structured data.
I think structured data is much better for us, to be honest. Unstructured data is the one where we transform into a structured data today, and then we use the time series, flow. If it is an unstructured, that's where it gets more complicated. If it is a structured, it is straightforward, in terms of putting that into a time series, or take a baseline on a particular popular algorithm and then use another algorithm which uses for your seasonality, use another algorithm for, different behaviors, the tenures and all that stuff. So, but structured data is much better for us to feed into the system.
Is your question
to train.
On the
Is your question related to forecasting or Gen AI?
GenAI, the bot what you showed, no, where it says it answers
Okay.
on the structured data.
Yeah.
See, if you think about it, and let me attempt this, right? If you think about it, from a planning standpoint, most of the information you are asking for is related to data. And if the data is structured, it is very easy. I mean, we have not seen a situation where Gen AI is not able to pull back the information and provide recommendation, etc. Where it struggles is domain-specific recommendations. So, for example, if I ask Gen AI in its normal form, the way it is today, that here is my over-under for the next few weeks recommend changes, it is still going to give me good recommendations. But the moment I start interacting more and more about those plans and I say, okay, create a new hire plan, that's where it starts showing that struggle. Unless you have in the back end your knowledge base or your workflows are built in such a way which the Gen AI can tap straight into for these specific use cases, rest of the things, I don't think it struggles. At least we have not seen it until now as we were testing it out. Those were the areas where we realized that, okay, the Gen AI is struggling, which means now we need to figure out a way to hand it over to agentic AI. Now, agentic AI is going to work based on certain workflows, right? That, okay, create new hire classes recommended by system. We already have that workflow built into the system already today. All we are now asking the Gen AI is to trigger that workflow and give the recommendation back. That's it. So that's how we are integrating agentic AI with all the workflows that we have already built and keeping it simple. But for rest of the use cases, we have not seen any issues, at least with the structured data.
Yeah, I think with the structured data, Gen AI point of view is the business context is yes, quite important. But the same example, what Mohit mentioned, give me over-unders. How your data is structured, what is over and what is under. Some people might call it as a FTEs, some people call. So that's where we extend the abbreviations or synopsis for each of those fields into our dictionary so that the LLM can understand. But prediction point of view, it's great, great job. It's not, I've not seen any, issues so far.
So a good metadata dictionary can solve this.
It's very important for that because when you're prompting it, see, number one is the prompt. And it doesn't understand the business context. It knows the data, what it is, and how to act on the data. But how do you make sure your prompt is more relevant to your business domain? That's where you need to maintain your own dictionary to make sure, okay, what types of words, sometimes it doesn't able to answer. If somebody says like, I want my full-time employee, it might not be recognizing that. That's where we have the anomalies. Then we're going to start training the model again, say, hey, if this is what the customer is asking means it is equal to this. So try to respond back. So that's how we're going to train it.
And the generic terms, it has already picked. Gen AI already knows all the generic terms like
LLMs.
Attrition, shrinkage, FTs, headcount, from a workforce management standpoint, it's already understanding this. It comes to a point where you are using something very specific in your tool, which is not a WFM generic term, that's where it will struggle.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's working really well for us.
It's so powerful, LLMs. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think this question evolved just because Gen AI was marketed that way.
Right.
But we realized it when we started utilizing it, like, no, it is not that, it is not the case.
Right.
It is not just about unstructured data that Gen AI will actually work with, but yes, as you rightly answered, it goes well with structure.
Structured data.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For the integrated, innovative and integrated workforce planning tool, I would request Mohit to stay back for, token of appreciation. So on behalf of deepest gratitude and token of appreciation to Mohit, a huge round of applause for Mohit and team.